like every season of Love During Lockup is never as good as the other seasons just because the inmates haven't got out yet. And so far, I've been kind of struggling to pay attention to this season. The first few episodes, like, I had to watch numerous times. I was just really struggling to focus, but I'm like, you know what? Each season always starts off a little slow, so let me not be too much of a negative Nancy already. And then once I saw this episode, my hopes got a little higher after I saw Hunter, Kate, and Kayleigh. So we know Hunter's with Kate, and she opened up Pandora's box when she decided to put him on this Write a Prisoner pen pal website so he can go find him some sugar mamas. And he swears up and down that he's just talking to these women on the phone and through the video visits. And he told Kate that he hasn't seen any of these women in person. Do you guys remember in my last video, I literally said I highly doubt he's not seen these women in person. I feel like if it means more money for him, then he's seen these women in person. And we find out this week that is exactly the case in this situation. I guess we have like another Michael, Sarah, and Megan situation. So shout out to the casting director that casted Hunter and Kate and Kayleigh, because it looks like their storyline's going to be juicy. We have a whole love triangle situation where Kate opened up Pandora's box and allowed Hunter to write other women, and now he has fallen for one of these women. I thought when he first initially was talking about Kayleigh, I thought he was going to be like, yeah, this is one of my main girls that sends me the most money, but I'm not really feeling her like that. Like, she thinks I'm gonna get out and go home to her, but really Kate's where my heart is. But when he talked about Kayleigh, he had a little sparkle in his eye. Like, it really seems like he has a thing for Kayleigh, and he really doesn't know who he likes more, Kayleigh or Kate. And he said that he originally just started talking to Kayleigh after she was scrolling on TikTok and she saw Write a Prisoner, and Hunter was like the 5th pen pal profile she came across. She reached out to him and she's like, oh my god, I hadn't been in a relationship in 5 years, and the one I was in was terrible, but I know Hunter, he's just a one-woman man. I know he's the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. He's different from the rest, as he's literally talking to 10 other women. I did find Kayleigh on Facebook because I was curious to see if she still was with Hunter, and she claims that Hunter was her first relationship in 5 years, and according to her Facebook, she's been in a relationship since March of this year, and her last relationship before this current one that's listed on her page was from back in March 4th of 2021, which is about, she said 5 years, it's about, 3 or 4 years, but close enough. And someone said, congrats, I'm so happy for you. He better be good too. And she said, thank you. She has been fantastic to me. So she swings both ways, and it sounds like her toxic relationship she was in before Hunter was a female. I think Kayleigh's just a little naive when it comes to her relationship with Hunter. She thinks that he's just this golden boy and that he only has eyes for her. And he even admitted, look, I originally thought she was going to be my sugar mama, but next thing you know, I had feelings for this girl. Then Hunter called her from prison, and he's the one that pushed her to go into the bedroom and grab her vibrator and start playing with herself. Like, he made it sound like on the phone with Kate that these women were just horny and couldn't control themselves and were doing all this on the phone. But it looks like he's the one that is pushing these women to do these kind of things. And while this girl is playing with herself, he's sitting there in her ear whispering, oh, I want to marry you, I want to marry you, and just saying all this BS prison talk. And literally that's the same exact stuff that he's been saying to Kate. And what I think the whole thing is, I think he likes Kayleigh because Kayleigh's a little crazy and wild. I don't know enough about Kate yet to make an accurate assumption, but something that I'm kind of assuming might be the case in this situation is maybe Kate's like the boring conservative one, and Hunter feels like Kayleigh is just the complete opposite of that and fills all the voids that Kate doesn't, and that's why he can't make up his mind. Or maybe he has a preference for bigger women, and he's got this girl playing with herself, and I'm just like, man, this girl has no shame at all. Like, I would be so scared that my parents or my family members are going to see me sitting here on my bed in my little dress or whatever the hell she had on, with my legs sprawled wide open in front of the cameraman, busting it wide with my vibrator as my kitty just stares on in horror. That kitty looks so traumatized, and I thought it was so freaking hilarious that as he's sitting there grunting and groaning into the phone, they're just zooming in on the poor little cat's reaction. And that's exactly how I was feeling in that moment. I'm like, I do not need to hear all this. This moaning and groaning is going on way too long. And I'm not going to lie, the whole, beginning of the lovemaking scenes, I could honestly go without. Like, I know it's part of the story. People in love have sex. But it always just makes me feel uncomfortable, even when they're just kissing and all that. I'm like, yeah, this is stuff that I just feel like should be between them. It's not for my eyes. I just feel like an awkward third wheel. I've been seeing a lot of people say they feel like Kayleigh is a catfish. But here's the thing. She's went and seen Hunter in person plenty of times. So he knows exactly what she looks like in person. So I feel like it's kind of hard to say that she's catfishing him if he now knows what she looks like and he's still continuing to talk to her. Kayleigh makes it sound like she just cuts hair, but from the sounds of her Facebook when she lists her job description, she acts like she's a salon owner. And if that's the case, it sounds like she should be making decent money. And I think that's what Hunter is seeing out of Kayleigh the most, is that she's more financially stable compared to Kate. And I guess when he was visiting with her in person, he said that they did some stuff, but he couldn't admit to what exactly it was because he was on a recorded line at the time. But while she was playing with herself with this toy, she let this man propose to her, and she said yes. She didn't make him get on a knee. She didn't make him get her a ring, not even a damn ring pop. And she still said yes. But she said in the future, she's going to need him to get on his knees and do it the right way. And I'm like, Hunter, why do you even want to make things this complicated for yourself? If I was him, I would just want to keep him at relationships for now, because as soon as they get engaged, they're going to want to start planning the wedding. And why do you want two women out here thinking they're going to be planning a wedding and getting married to you at the same time? At this point, I'm starting to think he likes the drama and madness. And even Kayleigh went out and got this man's initials tatted on her. But I will say, I am kind of living for her tattoo. Not the fact that it has Hunter's initials, but that is something that I think would be so cute to do, like with my kids' initials, a little key to your heart tattoo. I think it's cute, just without Hunter's initials. Actually, I am so freaking obsessed with that tattoo. I think it is so cute. It's a lot better than Hunter's tattoos over here. Like, what the hell is that? Then we see Kate call Hunter, and she lets Hunter know that now that she knows that he's got himself into some trouble because of these little sugar mamas from this pen pal website, she has decided to put her foot down and make Hunter cut off all these sugar mamas. And he's like, baby, you know I'm getting $2K a month from these women. You know it's going to be hard just to get completely cut off and just have the well completely dry up. And Kate was like, but no, you need to cut them off now. And he's like, and at first it seemed like he was going to just tell her yes, even though he knew in his heart he wasn't going to stop talking to these women. But he said, give me a week, baby, and I promise you I got you. I'm going to cut them all off. And I really doubt that's gonna happen. I think here in a week he's probably gonna be telling Kayleigh that she needs to start shopping for wedding dresses. And she's already trying to start planning to look at venues, wedding dresses, the whole nine. She even went and met up with one of her friends and was cutting his hair and telling him about, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry my prison boyfriend. And his jaw just dropped. He pretty much had the same reaction that we all do when we watch these people talk about how they're gonna marry these people from prison and live happily ever after. I just think Kayleigh is in over her head, and she just thinks that Hunter is this little angel. And I really, really wish I could have been right there watching her reaction as she watched last night's episode. I want to see Kate's reaction, both of their reactions. I follow both of them on social media, and I kept checking their pages, seeing if anyone said anything, and it seems like they're both pretty quiet, like they just post selfies and that's it. Part of me was thinking, oh, they're probably just now finding out about each other as they watch the season finale, but in reality, I mean, Love After Lockup's messy. I'm sure they ended up finding out about each other during this season, and I'm sure they're going to have some kind of confrontation or at least get together. At least I hope that's what we get to see this season. I think that would be some good entertainment that we can at least see if these prisoners are not going to get out. And you know, what made last season of Love During Lockup not that bad is the fact that we actually got to see Candace get out. And it seemed like she was in at least 5-6 episodes after she got out of prison, compared to having to wait till Love After Lockup. And I hope there's at least 1 or 2 couples that we get to see like that this season. I would love to see Hunter get out and see how he is with these 2 women, trying to juggle them in the free world, because it's one thing from prison, but once he gets out in the free world, that's a whole nother story. We saw how hard that was for someone like Michael, for example, to juggle when he had his love triangle going on, or Lacey and her love triangle. And you know what? I was dying laughing when I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw this page, All Things Lockup, which is owned by the same people who do Sarcasm, and they say, oh snap, we officially have a Love During Lockup love triangle. Let's hope Katie, Hunter, and Kayleigh are as entertaining as the previous lockup triangles. And they got Arthur in the corner with his triangle. That is so freaking funny. Oh my god. But hey, I got a little respect to Hunter for at least admitting that he's got multiple women, because we got so many cast members in the past who had love triangles, multiple women in their lives, but they just didn't have the balls to admit it. At least Hunter has the balls to admit it to the producers and the camera crew. He just don't have the balls to admit it to these women. I remember Lacey said that when she was getting interviewed by the producers, they asked her if she was talking to anybody else, and she's like, well, you know, there's this dude named John, which is my ex, and they're like, oh, so you got a love triangle, and she acted like they got really excited and they wanted to bring both men into the show. And I feel like that's probably the case with Hunter. They were probably interviewing him, he probably slipped up and started talking about another woman that he was talking to, and you know, the producers were like, oh yeah, this is what we need. I kept seeing them talk about in the trailer, oh, this is gonna be the biggest Love During Lockup twist ever. And I'm like, okay, they're just being over dramatic, because I've seen them in the past hype up things and act like, oh, this is gonna be the best season yet. Then the season ends up being a 4 out of 10, but I'm glad that they actually came through with what they were teasing, because this is a pretty good twist and I'm very excited for this season. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.